Listen to this. Osama bin Laden was offered to the United States by Sudan in 1996, and the Clinton administration turned him loose for lack of legal justification. This is how you act when stupidity is treated as a virtue. Mortal enemies are dealt with not as enemies of the state, but as the oppressed and as the abused. Bill Clinton flattered himself as looking beyond such mundane problems to the grander global vision of global warming and migration of spotted owls and gays in the military, because that was important to him. On 9/11, the politically correct illusions of America were shattered as our stupidity cost us the lives of 3,000 American citizens in the Twin Towers in New York City and the Pentagon. Now we recognize that the central problem of the 21st century is international terrorism. Not just international terrorism, but international terrorism that has the ability to make nuclear weapons. Weapons of mass destruction are not new. What is new is that the knowledge required to make them is now common knowledge. If you have a good education, a reasonable education in physics, chemistry, or biology, you can make a bomb. Doomsday has been guaranteed. In human history, no weapon of mass destruction has ever been invented that has not been used. Iran is in the nuclear race. America has recently discovered 2 secret Iranian nuclear complexes. Benjamin Netanyahu told me when he was here last, Russian scientists are helping Iran build long-range nuclear missiles. And those long-range nuclear missiles can reach London, Jerusalem, and New York City. Simply stated, America and the Western world is in a race against time. With these terrorist nations possessing nuclear capability, the nuclear holocaust is on the horizon. What is the probability that civilization will not destroy itself when it contains the very intelligence of mass destruction? I believe that there will be a nuclear exchange in the next 10 years. And the Bible says that that nuclear exchange is going to happen in the Middle East. It's recorded in Zechariah, the 14th chapter and the 12th verse. And this is the plague. Zechariah saw it in a vision, and he didn't know what to call it, so he called it a plague. And this is the plague which the Lord shall strike the people who fight against Jerusalem. That would be in the Middle East. Their flesh shall dissolve while they stand on their feet, and their eyes shall dissolve in their sockets, and their tongue shall dissolve in their mouths before the body can hit the ground. That is a perfect description of a nuclear blast. An H-bomb reaches 150 million degrees Fahrenheit in a millisecond. That's how your flesh can cook off of your bones before your bones can hit the ground. Zechariah couldn't describe that any more accurately than if he'd attended the scientific colleges of Harvard. Matthew 24, the disciples asked Jesus, what shall be the sign of your coming and of the end of the world? The question before America is very large and very simple. Can we and will we, as a civilized humanity, disarm the barbarians who are at the gate and take the nuclear weapons away from them before they destroy humanity, before they destroy America and destroy Israel? Within months, we're going to have a good idea whether the answer is yes or no. President George W. Bush is heroically standing against the world, trying to disarm these barbarians. And I say to you, President Bush, God bless you. You have our prayers and you have our support. I want to give you 7 principles that the mass media and the United Nations are feeding America over the liberal airways of America. I call them the foundations of fear for America. Should we attack or should we wait? Right now, our president is half supported and half obstructed by a parade of politicians. I believe half the senators in Washington are running for president. I think they all get up in the morning, shave, and sing Hail to the Chief as they shave. I want to tell you, Jesus Christ couldn't be president of the United States right now. The first argument is, yes, Saddam Hussein is evil. Hitler of the Middle East. He is the butcher of Baghdad. But should we take action and remove him? Why can't we remain neutral? That's the question. Let me tell you something. If history proves anything, it proves that we've learned absolutely nothing from history. That's true. Our nation remained neutral following Hitler's 1939 invasion of Poland until 1941. By then, Hitler had occupied most of Europe. He had invaded Africa and North and Russia. And the Nazi murder of 6 million Jews was well underway. Do you remember Neville Chamberlain? He was the Prime Minister of England. He said, we can make peace with Hitler. And he went to make peace with Hitler, and Hitler said, give me Czechoslovakia, and I'll be happy. They gave him Czechoslovakia. It was like throwing a piece of raw meat to a ravenous lion. As soon as he got Czechoslovakia, he then invaded the rest of Europe. And Neville Chamberlain all of the time was saying, we have peace in our times, peace in our times. What nonsense. The point is that history has taught us a lesson that we have paid for in a river of blood. That hesitating to remove an evil dictator only leads to a greater war and greater bloodshed. Signing a peace treaty with a tyrant and a thug like Yasser Arafat or Saddam Hussein only leads to a greater war. If we hesitate, if we postpone, if we delay, and Saddam Hussein gets a dirty bomb into New York or into San Francisco or into Chicago or into Dallas, the American deaths could be in the millions, making what happened on 9/11 a mere minor event. Then all of America will scream, why did we wait? Psalms 97:10 says, you who love the Lord hate the evil thing. Let me tell you something. From a biblical perspective, Saddam Hussein is evil. He is a murderer. He is a monster. God bless the American military forces as they go to crush this Nebuchadnezzar of the 21st century. The second argument being presented to the American people from the liberal media is, quote, we can't attack because we do not have the approval of the United Nations. Let me set the record straight. On 9/11, the U.S. was attacked by 19 Islamic fanatics, killing 3,000 Americans in New York City's Twin Towers and the Pentagon. We watched in horror as Americans leaped to their death on national television to escape the flames. We watched heroic firemen and policemen run into those flaming buildings to protect and serve as they gave their lives in the Twin Towers in New York. I want you to hear this. We, the United States of America, were attacked on our soil by terrorists. We are a free and sovereign nation. We do not need the United Nations to raise their hands and give us permission to defend ourselves. If we do not use our freedom to defend our freedom, we will lose our freedom. I'm glad to say America is not a globalist nation. We are the people of the United States, one nation under God, indivisible, united in the service of each other.